I wanted to pursue a year of service that implemented the Franciscan tradition that I began to really appreciate and learn about at Siena College, and I attribute the Franciscan friars there for helping me mature in my faith as a Catholic, and I felt that it was necessary to pursue a year of service after college, and I wanted it to be with Franciscans. I wanted to have that Franciscan charism. I wanted to embrace that, and I wanted to pursue service and a program that embraced that as well, incorporating spirituality, but also community, and really creating interpersonal relationships with not only your community members but those that you serve. Definitely my ministry of the Eucharist. I'm an extraordinary minister of the Eucharist to the sick, and I love doing that, going to different parishioners' houses throughout the neighborhood who can't get to Mass, who have been bedridden. To me, that brings me profound joy that I'm able to bring the Eucharist to those that can't physically get to Mass, and the joy that it brings them really bolsters my faith, and it really makes me happy. I love doing it, and it's definitely the ministry that I feel most the most connection with the people that I serve, and that's why it's that spiritual connection that the Eucharist brings, and that's why I love it so much. I think there's two aspects of the FEM year that really have been tough for me. On the one hand, it was getting to become very comfortable with my community members. We got a great house here, but as in everything, when you make a transition like we've made, it takes time to get used to the people around you. And I think that I finally started to get really comfortable with everybody, but it was a transitional process. At the same time, it was sometimes I would get that feeling of not being used to my, best of abilities in my ministries, for whatever reason. And it took me a while to just, take a step back and say, listen, some of these ministries require ministry of presence, where you may not think that you're doing all that you can do for somebody, but just the fact that you're there and that you're making relationships with people, and that just the fact that you're looking someone in the eye and touching them and saying hello to them, could be the world to them. And that's what I've had to really start to appreciate. I think it's great because the Franciscan Volunteer Ministry program is great because it really forces you to get out of your comfort zone. Now, I wasn't really expecting that. I expected it, but not to the extent that I've really experienced it. Just living in the situation that we're in community, having to really worry about money, how what we buy, that becomes very important. How we use it, being responsible about what we use. All these things, and also living in the community that we live in and trying to get used to everyone around us and really getting out of our comfort zone. All of these have become a real source of joy for me, but at the same time they challenge me, and they continue to challenge me. And I think that FEM does a great job at challenging those who want to do a year of service with the program, and I think that's something that everyone should consider, especially those who are coming from a faith background. It definitely would be during my ministry of the Eucharist, myself and a parishioner that goes with me, we went to a house that he usually goes to, and it's with a gentleman who's been bedridden for years, several years I think now. He's very, very sick, just is up there in his room for the most part in his bed. When I had went, it was tough to watch someone like that in that state. But at the same time, when we started doing the little prayer service that we do, and all his family members came around and we were praying, and we were praying in Spanish, and that's not my native language, but I mean, it just to be a part of that source of joy for that person who's in bed and really can't do much, to bring him the Eucharist, the body of Christ, and to see the joy on everybody else's face that we were there, and the appreciation was really, really awesome. And that was great. And that's one story that I'll definitely be, thinking back on years from now.